Happy New Year, everyone. Maneco64 here, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. I see we got a few people here already waiting for the live stream. Richard McCorkindale, David Morsilli says he's going to yoga, and then he's going to watch the recording. Happy New Year, Smoke and Mirrors. George Hawkins, DW, Pablo Pina, hi Pablo, the Sprinkler Ninja, Sean Kim, hello Sean, Rof B66.6, Crypto Shrug, good morning, Crypto Shrug. I don't know, where are you? West Coast, US, or maybe Australia? Happy New Year, Rick. Nice to see everyone. We didn't really do much last night. But this morning was interesting. One of my friends at the golf club, he's actually the greenkeeper. He's a good player. We actually teed off at 8 a.m. The sun was just rising. So I played 18 holes. We played 18 holes in less than 3 hours. So it was a good start to the year. And of course, the markets today are shut. Cryptocurrencies still trade. Not doing that great at the moment, cryptocurrencies, but I think the long, you got to be in it for the long haul, and you got to, do your homework, of course, as I've said before. Thank you, Sean Kim. Sean Kim says your contents are truly insightful. I try to make them, interesting. Sometimes, it's hard to get the ideas, but I try to keep it varied as much as possible. Annabelle Franks, Happy New Year, Annabelle. My daughter's name is Annabelle as well, but with just one L, not the two L's and an E. Dax, Happy New Year. Yeah, he's in the other part of he's upstairs, he's gone up, so I didn't want to just let him do whatever he wants. Yeah, Dax and the Fed. Is platinum money? It's a precious metals, but I don't think it's ever been used as money. But it could be used as money. Why not? Anything that is marketable. At the Austrian school, they look at money as the most marketable commodity. So, and who decides that? Well, the market does. After World War II, for example, in Germany, a lot of people accepted cigarettes as money because the country was completely destroyed. The political system collapsed. The monetary system collapsed, and cigarettes was something that a lot of adults wanted. So it became money. People would exchange that for anything. Danny Djokovic says, thank God. No bad things happened in New York City last night. I'll be honest, I just stood home with my wife and 2 kids last night. Yeah, that's right. Your vape pen could be money. Yeah, it could be. Why not? Cash is king. Well, it depends. Technically, the piece of paper that we hold, like the 10-pound note, during, before they abolished the gold standard in World War I, cash was really, if you went to the bank and you could cash this note for gold, that was cash. So basically, it's all being perverted. The paper money we have now actually is not cash. It's just a note, but it's called cash, right? No, cash, I would say gold and silver is cash, really. Cash is something that is money, and this is not money, I would say. Prime, aka Lewis, good evening, Prime, aka. Joe Papp, what do you think of the Dow up? Billy's upstairs, by the way, and he's with my wife and my daughter, so I just wanted to leave him. He'll be back though. The Dow, I think this rally, if you look at the charts, Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, it's just a counter trend rally in a downward trend. That's all it is. And The video I made yesterday, I think, or the day before, I spoke about how even though the Dow has rallied over 1,000 points since the day after Christmas, the 10-year yield has dropped about 6 basis points or more, and that doesn't make sense. By the yield dropping like this, it means that people are buying. They're worried. So the big investor, professional investors, are buying treasuries. Not that I think treasuries are safe, but so that's why I don't think this rally has got any legs or traction. We could go up a bit more, but I think we're going to have a pretty rough January for the stock market. It's going to keep dropping, in my opinion. Yes, philosopher bees. I've heard that many times. Gold is the money of kings, silver is the money of gentlemen, and barter is the money of peasants, but that is the money of slaves. That's really a good comment, good quote. Gur Oji, hey, Happy New Year, Gur Oji, my friend from Norway. He says, New Year is 1st of April. Why do you think it's called April Fool's Day? Could be, yeah. Some people argue that it could be the 25th of December as well, because that's when the sun the days start getting longer in the northern hemisphere. The Jews, the Hebrew calendar is different. Their new year is different. Their year, I think they're in the year 5,777 or 78. I'm not sure. Analog beats. I've noticed 50-gram breakable gold is not for sale anymore. Crypto shrugged off with crypto, the money of nomads. Well, I think crypto and the blockchain have a future, especially, Asia, the Chinese and Koreans are getting really into it, I think, as well. I think the only way that crypto and the blockchain would not be useful is if we went into a Mad Max kind of world where we don't have electricity, no, internet, and I don't see that, and I hope we don't see that. The Libra fraudster. What value do you think the guineas have, like those used to purchase things at an auction? Well, I think the guinea is just a little more than a sovereign. I think that was the main gold coin before the sovereign. So, and I guess I'm not a numismatist. There might be some guineas that are worth more than others, some that are rarer than others. But I think it's just a little more than a sovereign. I think it's something like, 1.05, like Dax said. That's right. So it would be worth, if it doesn't have any numismatic value, so you take the price of the sovereign. Right now, you can sell a sovereign at 235 pounds. So that, add 5%, that's what the guinea would be worth. Sean Kim, I'm in charge of a project that aims to decentralize social systems based on a gold-backed crypto. I'd love to hear your opinion on it if you have time in the future. Yeah, I have thought about gold crypto, and it's an interesting subject. I will keep that in mind. GerOG blockchain is free to use. It's only some smart heads who figure out what they can fool some people who think it's worth something. I agree, GerOG. It's just a program. But I think what's happening as well is that a lot of applications on the blockchain are being monetized without the fiat dollar. And so if there is demand for an application, that application can have its own token, and the market will decide what value that token has. I don't see a reason why that couldn't be so. If someone comes up with an application that's hugely popular, it could create its own value. Why does Microsoft Excel or programs have value? Because a lot of people use them. So I think that's what it's all about. It's about applications. It's going to be like and I recommend people listen to the guy from Block One. I forgot his name now, and he talks about how the blockchain and decentralization could change the relationship between shareholders, users, and workers. Everyone would be the same community. It's Brendan Bloomer. I recommend people listen to him. Brendan Bloomer on the blockchain. You can find it online if you Google it, the video. Olaf Nielsen. I don't have any price targets for gold and silver, really. I mean, the obvious one to confirm that the markets are really moving would be the old highs. We need to break 1950, and then after that, it could be short term. I've got 1560, 570. If we break through that in silver, I think that's quite positive. And also, we need to break above 1375 in gold. But no price targets, really. I try to think of gold and silver more as a protection and as, against fiat money debasement. The other thing I like to say, because I've got a few EOS tokens, and I found I have used a few wallets like Scatter wallet, and I've used Simple EOS, but I found something called a token pocket. I'll write it here. And if any of you have EOS, you should look at this app, Token Pocket. And it's good for iOS and Android. And it's great. You can see all the tokens you have. You can see where the market is. You can send EOS, send tokens, receive. I think it's one of the best. Token Pocket. I highly recommend it as an EOS, wallet. I think they're based in Singapore, and I had some of their tokens. I bought like 6 weeks ago or so, and for some reason they had been like frozen. So I contacted them, and they came back right away and said, "Well, you need to go into the app and claim the new tokens." So and then I went into the app, and I found out the app is pretty good, the Token Pocket. And the token is called TPT. I have some of those tokens as well. Charles Fischel. Danny Djokovic, crypto just makes money laundering easier. Well, money laundering is done with the Federal Reserve note as well, Danny Djokovic. I like to, I think that's one of the excuses the powers that be used, and I think they've kind of fooled you into it. I think crypto and the powers that be don't like the cryptos and blockchain because it's completely decentralized. Anyway, Sean Kim, I think there's money laundering, everywhere. And a lot of the money laundering that people talk about is not actually money laundering. It's just money that the government hasn't gotten a hold of, and they don't like that, so they call it money laundering. DAX, U.S. Fed funds, 2.25. Well, yeah, right now it's 2.25 to 2.5, the range, Fed funds, the target. And I noticed on Friday, the 2-year yield, which is closely related to the Fed funds, dropped below 2.5. So I saw that Goldman Sachs now only sees 1.24 rate hikes, in 2019. Up until a month ago, they saw 4 rate hikes. So I'm not even sure the Fed's going to raise rates again. They might do it one more time in March, and that's going to be it, unless the market improves. Happy New Year, Xerxes 5150. Rare 1030. Is your crypto portfolio up or down as of 1st of January? I haven't checked. Like EOS, for example, I've got, out of having EOS, I have now 36 other tokens that I got through airdrops. Of course, some of them are not worth much, some of them are worth a bit. And I think that's great to have all these tokens. They're basically, projects and applications using the EOS blockchain. And I'm not saying all of them are going to be great, but maybe 5 or 6 of them become really popular. I think there's potential. Forex Shark, do you have any interest in Elliott Wave? Yeah, Forex Sharks. I have looked at Elliott Wave in the past. I do. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. I have. I don't use it that much. One of the problems I have with Elliott Wave is sometimes they change the count if it doesn't fit the picture that they painted. But not harmonic patterns, I haven't looked into. Where do I live in England? I live in London. And London is quite a big place. Shane Sturgis, I just buy gold when I can afford it. I don't bother with the spot price. That's right. Try to dollar cost average as much as you can. Very difficult to time it. Sil9962, happy 2019 to you as well. Thank you. All the best to you as well. The Libra fraudster, if interest rates go up, the economy goes down? Not necessarily. If low rates were really good for the economy, the world would be doing really well, because in the last 10 years we had 0 in negative rates, and look where we are. So, higher rates can mean a sign that the economy is healthy. MA77XX, EOS is centralized, Brock Pierce is a criminal. Well, he was involved with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So, and EOS, I would, you've been listening to, I guess, what's his name, Bix Weir. If he's a criminal, how come he's a free man right now? So that's the question I have. I don't think he's ever been charged of anything. But anyway, you don't have to get involved in EOS, MA77. That's what's so great about the free market. It's not, it's voluntary. Gary Croft says that the 1-year T-bill pays more than 2, 3, 5, and 7. I don't think so, Gary Croft. Do you talking about the U.S.? I don't think that has inverted yet. Let's have a look. U.S. 1-year rate right now, 262. You're right. 2-year 249. Yeah, you're right. They have inverted. I didn't see that. Good point there. Yeah, the 1-year to 5 years inverted. It hasn't inverted yet with the 10-year. Maybe that's because, yeah, that's because the market still sees the Fed maybe raising rates. So the 1 year T bill, as it's called, has to kind of be above the Fed funds rate, which is an overnight rate. UAW, the dollar is going to fight these conspiracies against the dollar by raising rates. Well, I don't really think we have a US dollar. We have a Federal Reserve note. I think the dollar is like, the Federal Reserve, what we call a dollar is like, you know, all fiat currencies are doomed, including the dollar, if you want to call it the dollar, a Federal Reserve note, the euro, the pound, the yuan. They're all, fiat currencies. They're all sinking. Sometimes some sink faster than others. Sometimes, some, it's an endless game. But at the end of the day, they're going to go to zero. Dermot Flynn. Do you hear of any EU countries requesting their gold back from UK? No, I haven't. He says Ireland has requested. No, I haven't had heard any other countries. I think Germany has taken some of their gold out of the Federal Reserve in New York and some out of the Bank of England. Pat, I haven't read Anticipations by H.G. Wells, but I heard that it's kind of a blueprint for what the New World Order is going to be, right? Yeah, some of you are saying that you think EOS is extremely centralized. Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm not too sure about that. You have the 21 block producers. You've got other block producers on, waiting to maybe move up, but we'll see. Some people would argue that Bitcoin is, some of the huge miners control it as well. So, and as Happy New Year to you as well. Do you think cryptocurrency should be backed by gold or silver? Uh, no, no, not necessarily. You could have a cryptocurrency backed by gold and silver, but I don't think all of them should be. They're just the competing currencies. It, you know, it, it's a difficult question, gold and silver, as far as decentralization, because you're always going to have it stored somewhere. Dak says Trump is moving to gold standard after the Fed audit. Ugh, less than 3 years. Well, we'll see. We've been waiting for a lot of things for Trump to do, to lock up Hillary Clinton, but the only people that have been locked up have been people that work for Trump. Happy New Year, Lord Humongous. Nice to see you here. X22 report mentions gold will take the Fed down. I think the only thing that could take the Fed down is abolishing it, because the Fed was created by an act of Congress. Uh, so, and the Federal Reserve uh, has claim on the gold in Fort Knox. They have gold certificates that they can present to the U.S. Treasury and take that gold back. The gold on the Fed's balance sheet is not physical gold; is their gold certificates, and they can go to the Treasury and demand that physical gold back. So it's not very clear, who really owns that gold. That's supposed, the 260 million ounces that the U.S. is supposed to have. Yeah, Dak says Trump has the goal to bring down the Fed, but I'm not really sure. The Fed could try to, reclaim that gold because it's got gold certificates that the U.S. Treasury issued to the Fed in 1934. Because what really happened was the gold confiscation. People took their gold to the Federal Reserve banks, and then the Federal Reserve banks transferred it to the U.S. Treasury. U.S. Treasury gave the Fed these gold certificates. So I'm not really sure. The Fed might have a claim on this gold. Who knows? I'm not saying that's a good thing, though. The world debt. You mean debt, Odrogan? Do you mean world debt is up to the roof? Maybe you're able to press eliminate at the time. Yeah, there's a couple of ways to eliminate that. One is to default, and the other one is to inflate. And usually in the fiat money system, they inflate it away. But you never know; they could deflate it. That would be really bad. Well, not bad in my opinion, wouldn't be bad in the long term, but it would create a huge crisis in the world. I think a lot of people would die. The economies would collapse, but so would a hyperinflation. So there's no really easy option out of all this insurmountable debt. Lord Humongous says he got a yellow vest for Christmas. Girl OG says Norwegian economy is doomed. Central bank only has 12 ounces of gold. We sold all gold back in 2004, 50 tons. Yeah, and I guess your economy in Norway is highly dependent on the price of oil, and with oil down as it is now, not doing very well. But you do have a big sovereign wealth fund. I'm not sure how that's doing. It's one of the biggest in the world. Dax says Trump has Rothschild gold. All right. So do you think the Rothschilds are behind Trump, Dax? Would that be a good thing? I don't know. Yeah, Lord Humongous. I know the gold is the American people's gold, but it was confiscated. So confiscation is theft. So I agree with you. It's rightfully the American people's gold, and the Federal Reserve stole it with the Treasury back in 1933, 34. USA debt now is 183%. Well, I think that must be total debt, because the national debt officially is at 22 trillion. Sorry, it's about 106% of GDP. Of course, there's the 20 trillion or 21 trillion missing. That's not accounted for. The debt, Lord Humongous, the debt's backed by the taxpayer. It's backed by people's hard work, labor. That, unfortunately, that's what it's backed by. Yeah, that's right, philosopher bees. And the thing about this yellow vest, I think an analogy. I don't know if any of you seen the movie A Bug's Life. I saw that because that's when my daughter was growing up, and but the ants rise up against the grasshoppers, and I think that's could be what's happening in France, and it's spreading everywhere as well, I think. James de Ponder, everything is that except gold and silver. Yeah, everything is credit, right? And even under gold and silver, standard, you do get credit because people do lend money on the back of gold and silver, but it doesn't get out of control as much in a fiat system where there's no limits. Um, Forex Shark says, "I love the Bug's Life." Yeah, I liked it as well, even though I wasn't a kid. Seifu Ramdani, hello from Indonesia. Happy New Year. Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well. Money temple, money changes out of the temple. Yeah, I mean that's the whole problem these days. That's why I think a lot of stuff is all distraction. The real underlying problem with the world right now and probably forever is who controls the money. Um, I'm not saying I think the world will be perfect, but it could be better. I think it's gone too much, too much third world. Western Europe and the U.S. Has gone too much third world, and it needs to be cleaned up. Is Trump doing that? I don't know. I know it's hard to do that because the power of the deep state or shadow government is so entrenched. It's very hard to clean house. And I would say as well, a big portion of the U.S. population or European population, not the 1%, but just below, they're depending on the high prices for houses, the high prices for stock. They don't want to see the system being taken down because they're going to lose a lot. But unfortunately, I think it's the only way to it's the analogy of letting the forest fire. The forest has to burn down so that it can grow again and be healthier again. It's the same thing with the economy. It's kind of the Jubilee 7-year cycle. And I think, I think people the last 20 years, especially in the US, UK, and Europe, we haven't been, politicians don't want things, they don't allow things to, how can I say, correct. We're not supposed to have crisis. We're all supposed to be happy, right? No ups and downs. And I think a lot of the big symptom of that, believe it or not, even though I'm talking about economics and money, is all the prescription drugs that people take. People want a cure for everything. They want to be perfect all the time. And I'm not saying people shouldn't be healthy, but things, you got to go through ups and downs. And I think that's the whole problem. Uh, Chart lady, we have to, in America, we have to consider possible confiscation. What's your thought on numismatic purchases versus bullion? Protect our money. We can just buy bullion. Well, the thing is that in 1933, gold was money. So a lot of people had gold, and the government had, the confiscation was done because the banks, were collapsing and people were taking their money out of the bank. So the government wanted to keep the banks afloat because they bought FDR, so they had to confiscate the gold. But nowadays, gold, even though it's still money, de facto, de jure it isn't. So I don't think they will confiscate gold again. I think they've already been confiscating it by suppressing the price, so discouraging a lot of people from buying it. As for numismatic, I think the Treasury Secretary at the time of the confiscation, he was a collector of gold coins, and that's why they passed that exemption. So, yeah, you can numismatics, matic coins might be exempt. Probably not a bad thing. The only problem about numismatics is not really the spot price. You might want to try to get a numismatics coins that are not that rare, so they're very near the spot price. That could be a solution. Yes, Jake. Hi, Jake Jones. I saw that. I mentioned that in my video a couple of days ago. Gold was at like 1820 in Aussie dollars. That's an all-time closing high, and it's getting close in Canadian dollars as well. We're back above 1,000 in pounds. Earlier, I think in November or October, we dropped down to just below 900. So gold has gone up quite a bit in pounds as well. Oh, you're welcome, chart lady. Dax thinks Trump will take on the Fed. Well, I hope so, but I wouldn't want to see the Fed reformed. I want to see the Fed abolished. You see, people who talk about reforming the Fed, that's not good. Not good enough for me. Hi, Steve Walker. Nice to see you here. Oh, thank you, Jake Jones. I hope you have a stellar 2019 as well. It's amazing, you know, how time goes by at 2019. Perth Mint. Yeah, they have nice coins. I think I bought my daughter once some silver coins from the Perth Mint. They're very nice. Thank you, John McGee. Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you, Bobby Blake. Happy New Year to you as well. Happy New Year, Kathleen Smith. That's right, Jim. Abolish the Fed, you know, confiscate their assets. Well, you know, the good thing about abolishing the Fed, you could abolish the national debt as well, you know, write off the debt like Andrew Jackson did, or even pay it off. Chris Gamer, if the army didn't get paid, could they turn on Trump? Yeah, definitely they could. Kevin Johnson, any guess on what the price of gold and silver will be this time next year? Uh, Hopefully higher. I think it will be higher, but it's difficult to say what level. I don't know. But my view on gold will not change. It will be the same, you know, this time next year as it is now. James H., why do sovereign states hold US dollars rather than gold? Well, because the IMF bans people, you know, countries from holding gold as reserves, foreign reserves. They can go hold gold in the central bank, but yeah, IMF doesn't accept gold, and they did that on purpose. Mara, do you own Bitcoin keys? January 3rd, everyone's supposed to claim keys. Yeah, I don't keep any of my cryptocurrencies in exchanges. I have private keys. Thank you, highly developed BS detector. Lord Humongous, yeah, abolish the debt and death taxation. Yeah, I don't think governments should be able to issue debt. If they want to operate, they have to do it through revenue, uh, you know, through maybe quotas and import duties. That's how they used to do it in the 19th century. You don't really need an income tax either. The income tax is only there to give, you know, give backing to the fiat currency, and that's why the inland revenue was created pretty much around or revived pretty much around the time the Federal Reserve System was, created in 1913. Some people, uh, have demonstrated that the IRS is actually a private company and it's based in Puerto Rico. Good evening, Ben. Nice to see you here. S. Walker says Japan are using more cryptos. I think the Chinese and South Koreans, they're going to use a lot of cryptos as well. James Petherick, gold will not be much good when slayers and road pounders from Mad Max are booting down your door. Careful what you wish for. I'm not wishing for that, James, and I don't think anyone would be safe if they had no gold or no gold in that scenario. Norman Burton, Harry Dent has changed his view on gold because it held up very well during the big stock market run over the. Well, I think Harry Dent doesn't understand that back in the 30s, during the Great Depression, deflationary collapse, gold was actually money. So actually, gold did really well. He seems to look at gold more as just a normal, non-monetary commodity, and I think he's wrong for that. Gary Croft bought some gold on Glint at 922 3 months ago. Now it's 1,007. Yeah, I'm not. I've got some Glint gold as well, and I'm not selling it either. Happy New Year from Russia. Hi, Happy New Year. I'm sorry, I don't know how to read the Russian alphabet. I don't know what your name is, but Happy New Year anyway. Kevin Johnson, yes, in November, throughout November and beginning of December, I added on to some of my crypto positions when we had the massive sell-off. At the moment, I've been receiving like airdrops, EOS airdrops, but I haven't added at the moment. The umpire's post. Happy New Year, Mary. Do you think gold and silver ratio will remain about the same? No, I think that gold and silver ratio right now is topped and is coming. We're around 83, and I think we're gonna keep dropping. I think silver is gonna perform well in 2019 relative to gold. Am I selling all my gold and buying silver? No, but I think silver will do better. Yeah, I have used colloidal silver before. I haven't used it recently. It's pretty it's a good product. Yeah, Glint Gold. I have actually used a little bit of my Glint. I bought something for my daughter on it, and I had to use a bit of the grant, some of the gold. But actually the amount that I have now in pounds is more than what I had before I spent, which is quite nice. I try not to spend much of it though. I don't have yet an ETA for the US Glint cards. I will let people know in the US. Lord Humongous is asking. I'm still in contact with them. I think they've had it hasn't gone as smoothly as they thought. They're still working out, with the card provider in the US. And I think Glint is much easier to use than Gold Money. I do have a Gold Money account, and I can tell you it's not as easy to use. The Glint app is really good, and you can keep, if you want, you can keep your money other fiat currencies as well. John McGee, how old am I? 54. That's why it's maneco64. I was born in 1964. You're welcome. Remember WWG. You're in Florida. That's nice. My niece lives in Florida. She lives in Vero Beach. Yeah, she's got cute baby. She's 1 now, and she's expecting another baby. Chart lady, yeah, a glint can be the beginning of reason to go back to the gold standard. Yeah, and there's quite a lot of influential people behind the glint project. I spoke to them a few months ago in their office in London for over an hour, and they've got like even MPs who have invested in that. Stephen Baker, who's like a sound money proponent. He's like the Ron Paul in the UK Parliament. He's involved in that. So glint could be something very interesting. It's a very easy way to put gold back in the system, because some people say, "Oh, how can I pay, with a little gram of gold?" Well, you can with glint. You can with glint. Lord Humongous says, well, Lord Humongous is 44. Then there you go. Angelica, I think it's just they're trying to. What's holding them up is the payment process with the card provider. That's all that's holding them up. But their offices are already set up in the States, so we just have to wait and be patient. Yeah, Glint is privately owned. They do have, I think, shareholders, but it's not publicly traded or anything. James, Glint Gold, basically it's an app, right? And Glint is based in the UK, in London. And if you open an account with them, they will open an account in your name with a private vault in Switzerland. And if you buy gold, the gold will be in your name in that private vault. It's insured, the vault. And you can have, let's say you buy 10 grams of gold, and they provide you with a MasterCard as well. Let me get mine. I won't show you they provide you with a MasterCard called Glint, and you can go and spend your gold. You can switch your money into dollars or pounds as well. I've got all mine switched to gold. So actually, when you go to a store and you buy something and you use your MasterCard, it will take out the grams of gold, and they do automatic transaction, foreign exchange transaction. That's how it works. It's quite simple. And they take 0.5% either way, which is really good, I think, a lot of the bullion dealers is over 1%. And yeah, so it's outside the banking system. So if the banking system were to collapse, you'd still have your gold in Switzerland. As for MasterCard, I'm not sure if that would work as well. But your gold is safe and you can also in the States you'll be able to redeem the gold. In London and in Europe, I'm not sure that's available yet, but you will be able to redeem as for your physical gold. And you can spend, $1 and it will take, 0.003 of a gram. So to all those people, or you can spend $50,000 and it will take, the amount of ounces for that. It will take how much, 30, let's say 30 ounces. And so, those people who argue it's hard to deal in gold because you have to carry it, Glint will help that. Of course, there is the matter of trust. I trust Glint. I know the guy, Ben Davies, that one of the guys behind it. And I think, they're trustworthy. But of course, there's nothing better than having physical gold in your hand and silver. But if we want to go back to a gold standard, I think, yeah, we need that, the trust. And I don't think we're ready for that yet, because I still don't trust the banking system, the monetary system. So I think it will be more if if we have a crisis and there's a complete loss of confidence in the system, I think Glint could be one of the ways forward. Fees are 0.5%. A rider, KLR rider, and I think I've had my card for a few months, and they're not charging me 0.5% storage fee in the first year. I'm not. I think for the first 50,000 card holders, there's no uh, storage fees, but after the first year will be 0.5%. Kathleen Smith, no, they're not planning to hypothecate the gold. They're just going to be a deposit, a place where you deposit the gold. They're not planning to lend the gold. They might open accounts later that where they specify we will be lending, but I haven't heard any of that. What they told me, it's going to be a purely depository institutions. And in the past, 200 years ago or so, there were banks that were just deposit banks, and they took a small fee for storing your money. Libra fraudster, human civilization is really something. Why do you use Glint now as opposed to after the crash? Well, I'm using it right now because I trust the people at Glint. Not everyone might trust them. I've been there and I've met them, and you know, the amount of money that I put, pounds that I put in there into gold, is now worth a lot more. And I think it's a good way to keep some of that money, even though most of my precious metals is physical. And it's just fun to see how it works. If it does that, it does what it says on the tin, and I think it does. Yeah, these are all segregated accounts, uh, which means you can go and look at your gold, and it's not non-segregated, so it's your physical gold, or allocated. It is allocated. That's the term. It's allocated gold. Because non-allocated, that means they can hypothecate. But anyway, I'll probably be doing a video with the guys from Glint, and then they can talk more about it than me. Derek, yeah, the Glint price varies, with the market, with the spot price. So right now, over the weekend and holiday, it doesn't change because the market's closed. But tomorrow it will fluctuate with the price, the spot price. Yeah, Glint is in the US already, chart lady, and they will be, um, you know, coming out with a card quite soon this year. Tesla 3, yeah, Goldman is being, there's criminal charges in Indonesia. Is it Malaysia against Goldman Sachs? Bullion by post. I haven't used bullion by post. I've used, I use Gold Investments, .co.uk, and Atkinson's Bullion, but I think bullion by post is a good service. Some their prices sometimes are not as good as gold investments or Atkinson's bullion. Oh, you're welcome, Lord Humongous. Have a good rest of your new year as well. Kathleen Smith, I do have some mining stocks in a small SIP account, which is like a pension account in the UK. I think I've got Klondike Mining and Marathon Gold. They're like Explorer, quite speculative. They haven't been doing well, but we'll just leave them there. But I think they will do well. The mining stocks, they will do well. They do really well in the bull market. They outperform, the metal. And I think the best way to look at them, to choose, is maybe go to like a big, let's say, mining. Look at Sprott Asset Management, mining fund, or other fund managers, and go to their prospectus and see what they're holding and try to copy a little bit what they do. That's what I've done in the past. Kevin Johnson, I don't really give advice on individual stocks. I don't even know what BTI is, BTI stock. Umpire's Post. I guess you're talking about cryptocurrencies. Yeah, that's a good point there. Philosopher B's message retracted. Cav 369, mining sector will boom. Yeah, but you also have to be careful to get out at the right time, because the mining sector is like that. Very cyclical. Mustafa Raycap, I'm not based in the US, and I'm not a financial advisor. I mean, I don't even know much about 401ks and gold IRAs. IRA in the UK is like it's got nothing to do. It's got something more to do with Ireland than accounts. So I'm sorry about that. Kevin Johnson, British American tobacco. Yeah, I mean, cigarette prices, they're very high, but most of it is tax in the UK. 90% of the price is tax for the government. But yeah, people are always going to be smoking, and I guess vaping as well now. They probably pay good dividends, right, Kevin? I live in London, highly developed. Pablo Pina, yeah, they actually sent me a message about setting up a meeting, so I said fine, I don't mind, but I haven't heard back from them. Yes, Nasdaq. See, Goldman Sachs is. I think the Malaysian government is going to prosecute Goldman Sachs. Yeah, Billy's not here right now. He's somewhere else in the house. Quite a few people, 212. That's not bad for me. 50 thumbs up. Maybe you need some more thumbs up. Is that British American Tobacco 8.4% dividend? That's a good dividend. Of course, dividends fluctuate. Yeah, I have thought, Kevin, like, if there is a crisis and the stock markets implode, gold and silver do really well, you need to think, what you're going to do after that. And that's one of the things I've been thinking, sometimes looking at high stocks with paying high dividends. Just have to see, if when that happens, and there's a crisis, that dividend might be, you know, they might cancel it. But I think it's a good thing. Food, uh, tobacco, those things. People are always gonna, alcohol, drink. People are always gonna have those vices, unfortunately. And why not benefit from it? Train wreck, go get Billy and we'll give you thumbs up. Nah, that's not fair. Highly developed. Why is nobody talking about the gains palladium has made in the last 6 months? Well, I have noticed that palladium I think it's even gone up above gold, but I don't really follow palladium that much. I do follow by precious metals. I usually just look at gold and silver. I haven't really looked at palladium or platinum that much. Billy is chat moderating. Gary Croft, the reason why these banks never get prosecuted is because they're protected by the BIS. I recommend the video called All the Plenaries Men. If you Google that, it's a really good documentary about why these too big to fail banks are not prosecuted. Um, Basically, is because the politicians are scared that if you prosecute these banks, you can bring the whole system down, which is not right, but that's the way it is. Billy's having a few pints down the pub. He likes Guinness, Billy. Bulminator, you have a lot of life. Billy and his pint. There you go. Libra fraudster, what's your New Year's resolution? I don't have any. I mean, I try. Uh, I take every day as the same. It doesn't matter the year. It's just a calendar and it's just a number. Yeah, Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank has been like on the on the brink for the last 3 years. Uh, I think it will go down, but when it goes down, the whole thing will go down. All the other banks will go down as well. I think people need to keep an eye on Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan. Goldman Sachs stock price, chart doesn't look very good. I think that's more important than keeping an eye on Deutsche Bank. Gary Croft Guinness. No wonder Billy's always asleep. Tamas Rapasi, you goddamn wrong. All right. About what? Okay, everyone. I'll take a few more questions and then I'm going to end the live stream. Dermot Flynn, what is the latest with Russians investing in London property? I'm not sure. I haven't kept track of that, but it's probably not as buoyant as it used to be, seeing that, the UK government is going after Russians a lot, with sanctions. So it's probably not helping. And also, a few years ago, they increased a lot of the stamp duty tax on, high price property. So, high end property has dropped quite a bit in London. Kevin Johnson, I didn't hear about Amazon registering crypto domain names. That's interesting. Uh, NASDAQ C, do you know where sovereign wealth fund mostly are going? I don't know. I mean, they invest in all kinds of things, you know. I'm not sure how they're doing. I don't follow that too much. Pablo Pino, do you have research or trend monatomic gold? It was reading. No, I haven't. So we got some people here that are, let's remove them. There's some trolls here. I'm removing them. Okay. Yeah, Bullminator, he looks like a troll. Are they bots? I don't know. Thank you, Angelica. The same to you. Just one last question here on gold confiscation. In the US, I don't see gold confiscation. Of course, I could be wrong. But back in 1933, you know, gold was money and it was widely held, so they needed to confiscate. Nowadays, it isn't. I think they're already doing the confiscation by stealth, by keeping people out of the precious metals market. So that's how they confiscate nowadays. So I wish everyone a great rest of the day, and I'll talk to you later. Happy New Year, everyone. If any of you have not subscribed yet to the channel, make sure you do. And I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.